Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Driving with Duck. I'm just leaving a meeting that I had on my day off, which was not necessarily pleasant, but I'll deal with it. It's all part of doing what I do. So the past couple of weeks, I've been kind of going through some, emotional life changes. Just turning 42 and then feeling less accomplished than I should. Like as I'm driving past the reservoir in Clinton, where I was, walking the steps towards the turn of the season, so on and so forth, and thinking about trying to pass the DOC exam and then passing the DOC exam and then getting exposed to COVID days before my retest and having to drop out because of exposure. I'm thinking about all the things that I've missed, all the things that I thought I was going to do by the time I turned 40, and yet here I am, 42, and I'm behind the 8 ball, and I missed more than I accomplished. And I find myself, as I'm getting on in years, as I'm hitting my stride in the middle of my life, I'm thinking I'm still not in my own home. I'm still not in a career. I'm still not at peace. I'm still not fully okay with my surroundings. I'm still not in the best shape. I'm still not accomplishing all the things that I said I was going to do. And we all go through this as we age, as we get older, as we find new situations, new things happening. We start finding ourselves feeling down about the things that we haven't done and all the things that we have yet to do. Being in the middle of a mountain, you look at how far you've come, but you look at how much further you have to go, and there's that sense of dread. If I turn back now, I got a ways to go, but if I keep going forward, I know this is going to be a long haul. There's going to be a lot ahead. Get to that point in your life sometimes where you start thinking you're still not halfway there. You're still not at that first checkpoint. You're still not where you thought you would be. And I like to live my life in acronyms, right? That's what I always do. I do that a lot of time. Like one time I remember I did a Drivin with Duck and we talked about gym rat. That was an acronym that I had. Get your mind right and tight. That's what gym rat was. But now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking of all the things that I still haven't done. And I constantly say, I'm still not. What if not? It's never on time. We always think that we're going to do something. There's a certain recipe that we have for success in things in life. Like for me, doing the DOC exam, okay, with the next 45 days, go to the gym every day for X amount of time, X amount of days a week, do X amount of exercises. That should get my cardio up to where it's got to be. It should get my push-ups to where it's got to be, my sit-ups where it's got to be. Then I'm going to be okay. I'm going to pass it because that's the time allotment that I've given myself. That's the recipe that I have for success. And then that variable came in, COVID, and I never got a chance to retest. Okay, fair enough. I'll eat that. Then there's people in life where when you hit a certain age, you think, I'd like to own my own home. So you think, by this age, I should have this type of job that pays me this amount of money. I should be able to afford a house by myself. Then you lose your job and now all of a sudden you're not there. And then you're staring down the barrel of your time expiration and you haven't accomplished your goal. Or maybe you expect yourself to be married by a certain time. You haven't met that person, haven't found that person, and you're staring down the barrel of your time expiration. Yet you haven't found anybody because nobody pleases you or can match wits with you or is mature as you emotionally. So you haven't hit that point, or that point where you want kids. And you haven't met anybody that you want to have kids with. You haven't gotten to that serious part. Or you have an unexpected pregnancy by someone that you really weren't intending on having children with, and yet here you are. So I say to myself, there's a lot of things that I still haven't done. I'm still not a lot of things. But if you take that, what if, instead of still not being never on time, what if, thinking about this clearly, what if instead of never on time, it is needs one thing? What if you think it's ready, but it still needs one thing? If you're religious, some would say that it's Jesus in your life. If you're non-denominational, what if you say you need to have more faith in what you're doing? Because there's a lot of times when people will have a recipe for food and you try it and you think, you know what, there's a little something missing. And that something missing could be salt, it could be a little more water, it could be some type of seasoning, flavor, whatever. Still needs one thing. There's a lot of things in life that people do. They say, okay, I'm going to buy a house at this particular age and I'm not going to stop until I get it. So you have all the money you need to buy a house, and now the market is shit. You can't buy the house. But you're looking at a particular area, right? That's where you want to move to. Maybe that one more thing that you need is to look outside that area. Maybe that one thing you need to do is think outside the box. A lot of things that we do in life, and as we get older, we tend to want more things, see more things, want to feel more things, do more things. Sometimes it's even, maybe you need to open your eyes and look with your heart instead of your mind, and you'll see what has been there all along that you should have been looking at. You still need one thing. I suppose whether you're non-denominational or if you're Christian, you know what the funny thing is? Maybe it's just you gotta have faith. You need to have faith. You need to have the idea that no matter what comes your way, you will rise to the challenge and you will accomplish whatever goals you set fit. Sometimes it may not be on your timeline. It is on the timeline of the universe. It is on God's timeline. I've heard it said, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Now see, me, I am a Christian, right? A spiritual journeyman, if you will. God's laid a lot of things in my lap over my life, and a lot of the signs I've ignored, I've missed. So with that said, maybe still not meaning, still needs one thing. Sometimes it's your attention. Sometimes you need to pay attention to the things around you, because you could mess around and miss a blessing if you're not paying attention. There could be someone giving you some valuable information for free, but you're not paying attention to what they're trying to tell you and how they're trying to instruct you. We deal with that with our children all the time. I have a 20-year-old and a soon-to-be 14-year-old. I try and impart my wisdom all the time on them, and they look at me like I'm crazy. And they think that, I'm jaded. I have no experience in what they've gone through in life. But if they pay attention, they wouldn't miss a lot of the cues that are set up for their success. All they got to do is put in a little bit of work. Sometimes that one thing that you need is to put in more work. But that's the thing, you need to be intuitive to figure it out. Because the more times you say, I'm still not, that means that you're putting that on external circumstances. We all control our own destinies. We manifest a lot of things in our lives, but sometimes it's the road and putting in the work to make those things fully materialize, right? You can either go out and get your own home, if that's your goal by the time you're 40, or maybe, God forbid, your parents pass away and they leave you your childhood home in a will. You got the home you wanted before the age you wanted, maybe not necessarily in the way that you wanted. See, things get put in our lap sometimes where it's our goal, but we need to pay attention, or sometimes be willing to put in the extra work that is required in order to make that happen. Like I told you in the beginning of this, one of the points that I had was I'm still not in the best shape that I want to be in. Now I got to be willing to put in the work and put in the time at the gym, and it can't always be that because, I work 2 jobs that I can't make it to the gym. I could find time to do calisthenics before I go to bed, before I leave for work in the morning. Hell, I could cut back on drinking and drop weight. But if I'm not willing to put in that work, then I know that's on me. And I'm one of those people that, I'm not going to blame other people. You're not going to catch me on Facebook saying that the circumstances of life have taken more away from me than they've given to me. I have taken more away from myself than anyone can steal from me. And I'm humble like that, and I understand that. But a lot of people do not understand that. When people sometimes think I'm still not, it's that it's never on their terms. Ooh, I like that. Still never on their terms. People, that's actually an interesting way to look at it. I just said that out of the blue. Sometimes people will look at things and say, oh, I wanted it, but not like that, right? Some people will say they want a meaningful relationship, let's say, but they get into a meaningful relationship with someone that they shouldn't be in a relationship with. Then when that relationship goes sour, it's supposed to be someone else's fault. When all the signs were there, they didn't want to see it, so now it's everyone else's fault, and people just suck. You know, they want to have people to hang around with and do things with. But the people that they hang around with don't want to do dumb shit. They're about their paper. They're about having a good time, but not living recklessly and dangerously. So they're like, oh, I wanted people to hang around with, but not like that. I didn't want people that were square, people that didn't want to smoke weed all the time and drink all the time, people that want to go to the gym and they want to go out and sightsee. They want to go and take destination vacations and so on and so forth. They're not about that bullshit sitting around the house all the damn time doing nothing. See, someone like me, I enjoy that. But other people don't. So it's just something to think about. And I do this video because I've been in my feels lately and I've been feeling some type of way about a lot of external issues. And now I find myself questioning. It's not in my time and it is never on my terms. So I've been feeling some type of way. So now maybe I have to redirect and readjust my calibration so that I understand and I can grab a better comprehension of what's around me and take stock and create more of a focus towards the life that I'm intending to live. And I think a lot of us go through that, but I'm telling you, if your life is going in such a way to where you're upset, miserable, or angry all the time, or the world just isn't giving you what it's supposed to, stop thinking that you're still not in terms of never on time. Start thinking in terms of needs one thing. Because the one thing that might need is just you to notice that it's not the right time. This has been another edition of Driving with Duck. I appreciate your time and attention. Whatever you still are not at this point in your life, you always are to someone else. Flip that negative to a positive. I wish you love and light. Have the best day. Peace. I love you.